Craig, 12-point win over Western Illinois to start the week. The offensive numbers not great, but defensively and on the boards, you more than made up for it.
Yeah, we were really good defensively on Wednesday night against Western Illinois, and as were they. Both. I think we were held to 33% for the game, and we held them to 32.7 or whatever it was. But I thought we really defended well. Sometimes, Jeff, when you're not scoring the ball at the rate that you'd like to, and you're missing, some wide open point blank shots that you typically make, sometimes that can get really discouraging and affect you on the other end. And I told our guys after the game, because you can we were happy we won, but obviously still a little bit of frustration about how we played on offense. But told the guys, it takes a lot of willpower, and it says a lot about yourselves to still be able to defend the way we did that night when things weren't going right on the offensive side.
And if you're only going to shoot 33%, you might as well take 13 more shots than them, and your offensive rebounding took care of that. And then the points you scored off of their turnovers helped out as well.
We did we're not really a pressure and deny team. We're more of a pack and in team, but our turnover percentage is really good. Certainly both in our conference and nationally. We know how to create turnovers by being in the right position defensively and really playing connected on the defensive end. And we're number 2 in the country in free throws made, number 3 in the country in free throws attempted. And so that's kind of been a bit of a staple of ours. I think we were top 10 in the country last year as well in those free throw categories. And then since the Christmas break, we put more of an emphasis on offensive rebounding. I felt like we've been a little bit just not as assertive on that end as we have been in the past in terms of getting to the offensive boards. And certainly that showed. We had 14 offensive rebounds in the first half that night. And part of that was just effort. And then part of that, we did a great job of getting to the rim. And it's a little bit kamikaze-ish because Brandon Gilbeck is a 7-foot center that they have that I believe is the leading shot blocker in the Summit League. And you go in there and he alters everything, and you kind of sometimes end up just throwing it up and hoping and wishing. But what it does do is Gilbeck has to rotate over, and now there's all kinds of offensive rebounding opportunities on the weak side, and we took advantage of those.
And you mentioned free throws, Craig. When you're not shooting it well from the floor, you can certainly make up for it at the line, and you guys do not carry that to the line. You were shooting very well, especially down the stretch, 12 of 13 in the last 2-17. That's going to win you a lot of games.
It will, and knock on wood, we've been a good free throw shooting team this year. I think last year we were like number 6 in the country in free throws attempted and like number 35 in free throws made, and that's not a good ratio. And then this year, like I just said, we're 3 in attempted and 2 in made. We had a bit of a hiccup, which has been unlike us. We were 6 of 14, I believe, from the free throw line in the first half, but then we, more than made up for that in the second half. So that's been a big staple for us, just kind of our style of play and the way we play. And we've been, that's I would say one constant that we've been able to do this year is get to the foul line.
You saw a couple of really good young players last week. Let's start with Kobe Webster from Western Illinois, the freshman.
Well, he's really good. He's 6'2", but he can just score it at every level. He really can make plays. He's a very good passer. He just has such a smooth shot. Like when he shoots it, it's one thing to see this all on film, and then you see it in person. When he flicks that wrist and steps into his shot, you just feel like, oh no, that's going in, But he can make some plays. I thought we did he still had, I think, 18, but I thought we did a really good job on him. I thought we made life very, very difficult for him most of the night. But like any really good offensive player, it's hard to keep the guy down, the whole time. But all in all, I thought Tristan Simpson did a great job, and he's going to be a pain in there, for another 3.5 years.
And then Cameron Hunter, the redshirt freshman from North Dakota State. I mean, everybody's thinking Paul Miller's the guy you got to shut down, and certainly Paul had his 24, but all of a sudden Cameron Hunter just goes off against you guys.
Yeah, he sure did. It was I don't know if you can say it like that. I think he ended up with 35, and it was like, in a weird way, a quiet 35.
Yeah.
He only had 12 shot attempts, and to go 9 for 12 from the field, and I mean, that's about as efficient as it gets, 35 on 12 shot attempts. The problem is we just kept fouling. And we typically are a good team at not fouling, but we struggle keeping him in front of us. And, I think he went 14 for 14 from the line. And you know what? Some of that he made some great plays. Other times it was breakdowns by us, but players make plays, and boy, he made some huge plays as a redshirt freshman in a big game.
And, of course, one of the big stories for your club was no Carlton Hurst in that game with a broken hand. First, how much did you miss him? And second, how long are you going to miss him?
Well, obviously Hurst is a really, really good player. I mean, he's a very good player, and he's an excellent defensive player. And did we miss him? I mean, anybody that's watched us plays knows how we play and knows how valuable he is. But that's part of the deal, right? That's why you have a team.
Yeah.
And we have 17 guys on our team, and it's a next man up mentality. Last year we lost Tyler Flack, and all of a sudden Tyler Hagedorn, shows what he can do. And so it's next man up mentality. We got to get more from everybody's got to step up their game, right? And then guys like Tyler Peterson, who I thought played well, Brandon Armstrong, and then who's the next guy going to be? Is it Logan Power or Joshua Doss, or are we going to play guys in some different positions? We got to find out. That's the hard part when it happens the day before. About midway through practice, there's just not a lot of time but that is what it is, and it's the next guy up, and we're going to see what some guys are made out of.
Bison ran out to an 11-point halftime lead. You used the word undisciplined to describe your group in that first half, Craig.
We were. We got off to a great start, 15-3, and then I thought, for the next about 5-6 possessions on the offensive end, I just thought we got really selfish and took some just hideous shots and quick shots. And I don't mind quick if they're good shots, but I just thought, they were horrible shots. And so what do you do? And then we were still up 7, 5-7 most of the first half until about the 6-7 minute mark, and then I guess the proverbial wheels fell off. We stopped getting back on defense. They really got going in transition and got wide open standstill threes, and that's kind of their mantra. They're a good 3-point shooting team, and then we weren't able to finish some plays around the basket, and so when you do those kind of things, and then I thought the last play of the first half summarized that they get a catch in kind of on the block area, and Fuller kind of brick walls the guy, and then we have Hagedorn comes over, and we're in a double, and then we just kind of give and let him split the double, and they get a layup as the buzzer goes off, and it's like, what are we doing? But I'll tell you, I thought we did a good job of resetting, so to speak, at halftime, and we made some adjustments that I thought really helped. And then we ended up, we just told our guys, you're not going to get a 13-point possession or 11-point possession at one time. You just got to keep chopping wood. And the way NDSU plays with long offensive possessions, it's tough to get back in games. I thought our press was really good, and we went up twice, by 1, but we just couldn't get enough stops down the stretch to stay on top.
You did have that 18-4 run, and a lot of that in the second half was keyed, like you said, by the defense forcing turnovers.
It was. Our press was really, really good. We forced them into 17 turnovers. They're a team that doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot. We were trying to get the press going earlier, and we weren't getting enough pace we weren't always going to get the trap and try to get them going, out of control. And we made a tweak on that as well. And then I thought we really sped them up and got them going. And I gave our team life and gave our team energy. Should have been more aggressive with that in the first half. I regret that for certain. But, all of a sudden our defense became our best offense in a lot of ways and really changed the momentum. And then Mooney kind of caught fire down the stretch there. And like I said, we made a couple baskets to go up 1 a couple different times, but we gave up, I think, 3 offensive rebounds in the last 3 minutes. And those are big-time plays that we have to make because you make those stops and now you got a chance to go down and extend your lead and put more pressure on them. And but we just weren't able to get those stops when it really, really counted.
And then you had a couple of empty possessions offensively down the stretch that you obviously could have used.
Yeah, we did. I thought we had they were empty in terms of we didn't score, but I liked the shots that we got. We go up 1. Mooney hits a 3. We go up 1. They come down. They score. Then we run another play. Mooney kind of gets in the paint, hits a little pull-up to go up 1. And then we get a stop, and we come down, and we pitch it ahead, and Tyler Peterson drives left and finds Mooney at the top of the key, pretty wide open. He was a little off balance when he shot it, but, I mean, he was kind of in heat check mode, and we all know what he can get like when he makes those. And it was a good look. He just missed it, and then and then he missed a wide open three, and I mean wide open off of a set. And that's just how it goes sometimes. You're not going to make every shot. The whole point is you want to get clean looks that are good rhythm shots for your bet, for your guys that can make those kind of plays. So it's there's always those kind of ebbs and flows and in a game, and it really hurts, obviously, especially when you lose at home. We haven't had to taste this, kind of feeling a whole lot in the last 2 years on our home floor. But unfortunately we did on Saturday night. Now we got to regroup and gather ourselves against a Fort Wayne team that is as prolific as it gets on the offensive end.
Yeah, and I was going to say just the one game to focus on this week, and I imagine some of the focus has got to be defending the three-point line when you go against the Mastodons.
Yeah, I mean they're top 25 in the country in three-pointers made per game at 10.5 threes made a game on average. And so, you watch them play against Indiana, and it's just like, oh my God, I mean, every single shot is just falling in sight, and shooting is contagious. Good shooting is contagious. Bad shooting is contagious. So we're going to have to do a great job of really guarding the ball. They really spread you out. They have 4 or even 5 guys on the floor that can consistently make threes at all times. And so they want to get up and down the floor. They're 35th in the country in scoring at about 84 per game. Top 25 in threes made per game, like I just said, and they can let it fly and they will let it fly from anywhere. So got to really carry a hand. Got to know where the shooters are, obviously. But a big key before all that is they put so much pressure on you driving. Mm-hmm. So if you can't guard the ball, now that collapses the defense, and now they're just drawing and kicking, drawing and kicking, drawing and kicking. And that's how they get their standstill threes.
And Bryson Scott, a guy you guys know all about because you saw him in a couple of games last year, really coming off a very odd week for him. He did not shoot the ball well at all against Oral Roberts in Denver, just 37%, and just 1 of 11 from behind the three-point line for Bryson Scott. That's unheard of for him.
He's a guy, he's a Purdue transfer. There's a reason he was at Purdue. The guy is an offensive machine. He can really, really shoot it. He just knifes into the paint off the bounce. He's so quick and shifty. It's just hard to explain. I remember last year was his first year playing at Fort Wayne, and you watch all the video, and it's like, okay, he's got some juice to him, and then you play him for the first time, and you're like, oh man, he's quicker than I thought, and so he's a load. And then you combine him with John Concher, and Concher's only a junior, and Concher's been a first-team All-League guy, both years in the league. So you get those two guys in the backcourt, and so those two guys are the real playmakers. They can shoot the three, got great pull-up games, get to the rim, and then you surround them with a bunch of guys that just stand there and make threes. And so that's a pretty lethal combination to have. And so but they've been they got some weaknesses too. But they can really get it going. And when you beat Indiana by 20, and I know Indiana's not like a top 20 team in the country this year, but when you can beat them by whatever it was, 20, I think, right around that, you got some explosiveness to you.
What's interesting is the 2 games you played them last year were completely different. You had a low-scoring game at your place against them, and then just a back-and-forth game at their place.
Yeah, it was really weird. At our place, I just remember it was just a tug-of-war back and forth, and they were up early, and then we went ahead, and then, I think we were up by like 12, and they go on a 10-0 run in a matter of like a minute and a half with like 4 to play, and you're like, oh, man. And then they miss the kid graduated, now their point guard. I can't remember his name. He was Evans.
Yeah, Mo Evans,
This is like about a 25-footer to tie the game at the buzzer. And that was a heck of a game. But both teams, I thought we really, really defended well and hard that game. And then at their place, it was just one of those nights. They couldn't miss. We couldn't miss. I remember telling our staff, well, boys, it looks like we got to outscore them tonight. And we did. It was one, early in the second half, I remember Flack and Hagedorn just got fired. I think both those guys had 2 threes in the second half alone. So our centers had 4 threes between the two of them. And it was just one of those nights. We were in a big-time groove, and about everything was going in the hole. So that's a tough place to play for a lot. They don't always get a ton of people there, but they play in where their D-League team plays, and it's in a hockey arena, and it's just a different kind of vibe in there. So you really got to play with great energy and great passion, and hopefully our guys will respond in a positive way after Saturday night.
And obviously with a few days to prepare and with Carlton being out, and now you've got a little bit more of a chance to maybe work out some of the personnel issues that you just didn't have a time to do before the North Dakota State game.
Yeah, we really need this time, quite frankly, because it is different. And I didn't say that, Hurst broke his hand, and he's going to be out for a period of time here. We'll just see how well it recovers, but he's not coming back anytime, real soon. He should be back by the end of the year. I don't think I addressed that when you asked that earlier.
That's fine.
But yeah, we need this practice time. We really got to sharpen up some things, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and then just figure out what our lineups are going to be. Is it going to be, different? Who are we going to play more minutes? Maybe there's a guy that's not playing right now that steps in and plays. Maybe it's by committee. Maybe we need to play the same guys but play them in different positions, so to speak. So we're going to have to put some things together and figure out what works, and every guy's got to be do their job a little bit better than they did before because because Carlton, started every game since he's been here and certainly has had an impact on our program.